Hello guys, in this video I'm going to talk about the constructor, the class constructor. What is a constructor? What is the default constructor? What is a parameterless constructor? I won't be showing any slides here because I'm going to jump in directly into code. One thing also I would like to say as a prerequisite for this video, I would like you guys to go and watch functions and methods because a constructor is nothing but a function or a method. Okay, so let's start. So in the last video, the video of functions and methods, we had a class of type person. We called it person. This class has two properties. We defined three methods, one for setting the name, one for getting the name, and one for printing the name. Okay, but because we have properties and these properties has get and set, we we don't need this. We don't need these two methods because we can easily come here and write person.id and we can give it a value, and we can also write person.name and also we can give it a value, and we can get the value by doing this but with no assignment, of course. So when you do person.id equals 1, it means you are calling this property and this part of this property, the set part of this ID property. When you write person.name without an assignment, you are calling the get part of this property name. Okay? Properties are not our topic for today. I will make a video especially for properties because there is more than this for properties. Okay, but this is all I wanted you guys to know, that we can give values and retrieve values to to a class properties through this dot operator. Okay, but should I, every time I create an object, go and use this pattern to give values to the properties of this class? Of course not. This is where the constructor comes into play. So what is a constructor? A constructor is a normal function that carries the name of the class it exists in, but it doesn't have a return type. So, if I want now to create a constructor, all I do is I do public person, the name of the class, and as you can see, I can do this now. Now I have a constructor. This constructor is a parameterless. It means it doesn't have parameters, and it doesn't have any code. It doesn't do anything right now. One thing also I want you to know is if you don't write this, if we delete this, it already exists. Every class you create, there is a default constructor. This is called the default constructor. Either you write it or not, it exists. It's there. That's why you can write this new person, because if you don't have a constructor here, because if this constructor doesn't exist, you won't be able to write this new person. Okay? This is what gives us the ability to instantiate an object out of a class this way. Okay, so but what we need is more than a default constructor. That's why we create our custom constructor. There is a shortcut to create a constructor in Visual Studio, which is CTOR, and you you click tab and you get a constructor. Still, we have a default constructor, which doesn't have parameterless, and it doesn't do anything. But usually we create a constructor because we want to do some work. Now I'm going to do an integer, ID, and a string. Usually we do this because we want our object when it's getting created to have initial values, or the values get set in the values of these properties get set during the creation of our object. So what we can do here, we say ID equals ID and name equals name. Now, if we go here, we find that we have an error because the default constructor is gone, because when you define a constructor and give it parameters, this means You don't have a default constructor anymore. So this is not right anymore. That's why it's giving us an error. We can easily fix that by making a constructor that is parameterless, that doesn't do anything, and this fixes our problem, and this leads us to uh, to a result that is we can have multiple constructors in one class. As you can see, now I have two constructors. But what does that mean? This means now I have two ways of creating objects of this class. For example, if I come here and say person2, now I can use the other constructor. I can say 2, and I can give this guy name. I can say Sam, for example. Okay, now I have two objects. I created these two objects using two different ways. The first way is using the parameterless constructor. The other way is to use the custom constructor with parameters and with body that I create. Okay, so now if I come here and say, as you can see, it's IntelliSense figured this out, console.writeLine person2.name without setting the name with the set name method or using the dot operator to set. Now I can get the value of person2. And now I can say person2 plus, let me add a space. And now I can see I will have the name of this person2 because everything now is set up during the creation of this object. All I have to do is provide the values in the constructor, and that's it. Okay, this is all about constructors. One thing about constructors, I hope it's interesting for you guys. You can, what if you want to restrict creating an object that initially doesn't have values for its properties? Like this, for example. So if I come here and do control and comment this out, now this person.name, this person doesn't have a name. So what is going to be printed? Nothing. So for us, this is ugly. This isn't good. Sometimes it's a bug. What if I want to prevent the instantiation of an object without any initial values? All I can do is I can come here. I can do private person. I can make this constructor private. This means no one can access it. Now I will get an error here. So the only way now to instantiate this person object is to use the other constructor with the parameters. Okay, now if I start my program, I get test, and so. This is a security thing you can use, you cannot. It depends on what scenario, what do you want in your program. Okay, it's very important to know about constructors because later on, when we talk about dependency and when we talk about dependency injection, all of both of these principles will apply to constructors. Okay, I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment. If you have any notes, I missed something is not clear, you can write me in the comment. I will do my best to clarify it as soon as I see it. See you guys in the next video.